We're live.
Welcome to the Lost Together podcast. I'm Joe. Still my attempt to convince Morgan that this is one of the greatest shows ever written, produced, directed, shot on an island, and left behind, which is the title of today's episode. It is season 3, episode 15, Left Behind, a Kate episode. I don't know how much you love the Kate-centric episodes.
Yeah, but this one was pretty decent because, there's a lot of drama. A lot of drama happening.
A lot of drama, and also we're starting to see a little bit more overlap/overlay with the characters pre-island in some stuff that happens in this episode. Mm-hmm. And, pretty significant, this one. And I think... significant, symbolic, and unique. So I won't get into exactly what it was, but, general thoughts about the episode. What'd you think?
I thought it was good. I think that Kate might be getting an unfair shake here. Just a touch, maybe. I like that there's some overlap. Like, what are the odds that Kate and Cassidy run into each other? Like, hello?
Yeah, it's almost like
it's predestined.
It was meant to be. Without getting too deep into it, I'll say that I didn't love this episode. I didn't love it the first time I watched it. I didn't love it this time. I don't hate it, but I'm reminded that I think it was when they were responding to kind of the backlash around Strangers in a Strange Land, they said, look, we have a lot of episodes to make, so every episode's not going to be
a banger,
right? And I'm thinking that, and I don't know why, maybe it's just my instinct as somebody who used to do a lot of writing, the handcuffing thing, which we'll get into, feels like they just went, man, we got to do something to add some drama to this episode. Like, we got to do something to ramp it up a little bit. What can we do? Well, what if there were some handcuffs involved?
Hello. Take these two hotties and stick them together.
Yeah, everybody loves some handcuffs.
It's like when you're fighting with your sibling and your mom puts you both in a giant shirt and says, like, love each other. It's like that.
When I was a kid, my mom, one time, my brother and I were fighting, and we had these gloves, these boxing gloves, and they were not actual boxing gloves. They were like toy boxing gloves. So they're real padded, and they made your fists huge. Like not like the Hulk fist, but like slightly smaller than that. Mm-hmm. And we were fighting, and she made us go out in the front yard and fight each other in those gloves. Mm-hmm. I thought it was bold of her to do it in the front yard, where cars might be driving by and see it. But I don't want to diss my mom entirely. A lot of her punishments were not that creative. She typically would just ground us from something or whatever. But that one I thought was pretty creative because the fight had no gusto. Or we just didn't want to. It was kind of like when you're going to clean your room and somebody goes, clean your room, and you go, well, now I don't want to. And so
He's the king of that.
Yeah, we were going to have a fight, and then my mom was like, fine, fight. And we're like, well, we don't want to now. Like, you said you wanted us to. We don't want to now. And so we just...
literally all the time, like, I will see a thing and make a comment about, hey, we should do that. Or, hey, that would be cool, or whatever. And then he's like, I was gonna, but now I'm not.
No, she's
it
not.
It happens all the time.
No, the proper characterization of that is that I'll be, like, walking... I'm going to make up an example. I'll be walking toward the trash can. And I'll get like a couple of feet from the trash can, and I'll hear from behind me, "Hey, we take that trash out?" Like something like that, and
that's rude.
That is what I'm talking about. Like and I'm like, no, I don't want to now.
Yeah, so now he won't take the trash.
I don't want to because you saw that I was doing it. Now you're trying to make it your idea. So absolutely not.
I'd say 8 times out of 10, you will still take the trash, but you're pissy about it.
Yeah,
you'll do it though.
Well, yeah, I mean The thing is, I'll do what's asked of me all the time. Like at work, when I don't like something, I do it, right? But and as part of my interview, they asked me what would be a bad thing about working with me, and I said that I don't suffer silently, and that is 100% true. So,
true.
you will never get to enjoy it fully. So, like, if you're asking me to do something that I don't like, you're not gonna like how it goes. I'm gonna do it, right? But like, as long as that's all that matters to you, you're gonna be happy. But if you need me to like whistle while I'm doing it, not gonna happen.
Whatever. I wanted to add to your fighting thing. I don't know if any of you guys ever had these, because I know a lot of y'all are overseas. Sock Em Boppers. Do you remember Sock Em Boppers?
Sock Em Boppers.
Sock 'em
all
Boppers.
day and bop all night.
Yeah, something like that.
Put your hand inside.
Yeah,
Ready to have
it was
the
like
time of your life.
It was like a huge inflatable. It looked like a big marshmallow, and my papa bought me and my brother some of those because we were fighting all the time. And he would put us outside, and we would just wail on each other with those Sock Em Boppers.
Do you think that Sawyer and Jack and Locke could have solved their issues with some Sock Em Boppers? No, Sock Em Boppers.
Probably.
Instead of a fist fight, y'all can wail as hard as you want, but you have to wear these Sock Em Boppers.
Yeah.
Can you
to
imagine?
Make them look stupid. And me and my brother were little bitty. Like, my brother was like 4, and I was, 5.5, 6,
and
or
she
whatever.
was tiny. Like,
yeah, well,
Morgan was.
He was smaller.
Yeah.
And these Sock Em Boppers,
just would have looked like carrying tires.
yeah,
or
we're
something
walking like this, and I used to just wail on him. I mean, beat the shit out of him with those Sock Em Boppers. And then one day he got a lot bigger than me and a lot stronger than me, and I stopped fighting him.
I don't think he's tougher than you, though.
I think he is.
I don't think so.
I think he is. I would not want to fight Michael.
Y'all, I know both of them, and there's a lot that goes into toughness, and mental toughness is part of that. And Morgan's got him beat by a mile in mental toughness.
I do not think so.
I've seen that man pitch a fit over a Diet Coke, so I'm
me too.
Not like Michael. Anyway, so moving right along.
Yeah, so we're starting with our flashback, which is Kate is. What's it, on the lam? Is that the...
Yeah.
What's that stand for?
That's a good question. I'll look it up. Keep going.
Okay. Kate's on the lam, and she drives up to a gas station, and she's in her, in her little car, all, like, driving at the steering wheel like this, all, and she pulls up, and there is Cassidy, and she's hawking, chains, basically, fake shitty looking chains, and it's like the whole, like, you want to buy a watch, where you open up the trench coat and there's watches or whatever, and these two dudes are just not buying it at all. They're like, those are fake, and she's like, no, they're not. Why would I be out here selling fake jewelry? That's stupid. And then one of the guys is like, I'm gonna call the cops. And so here comes Kate, and Kate's like, not the fuzz. So she goes, my dad was a jeweler. Those aren't fake. How much for that one? Cassidy's like, 60. So Kate gives her the money. Kate takes the necklace, and they're like, good doing business with you. The guys leave. They're fine, obviously. Kate and Cassidy walk away, and Cassidy's like, thanks for getting me out of that. And Kate's like, can I have my money back? So they exchange the necklace and the money. And then Cassidy is like, why didn't you want me to call the cops? And then Kate just comes right out with it. They go to a bar or whatever. I'm guessing they're, feeling a little loosey-goosey because they had some, well drinks or whatever, that bottom shelf tequila, Cosmopolitans or whatever. And Kate's like, yeah, my stepdaddy was a piece of shit, so I killed him. And Cassidy's like, yeah, well, I got really embarrassed by a dude. Like, that was her thing. Kate's like, pouring her heart out about, like, yeah, he used to abuse my mom and whatever, so I blew him up and I killed him. And
well,
Cassie's
everybody
like,
can't be a murderer.
Yeah,
so
Cassie's like, I got really embarrassed by a guy.
So before we move forward, I wanted to give you guys a quick etymology of on the lam. So I've never thought to look that up because that's not a phrase that I use regularly. It started in 16th century England, and it actually is, it's derived from lambast, which is like what we, like to lambast somebody is to like verbally berate them. So it's like, You've probably
getting yelled at.
Yeah, getting yelled at. But it was to beat them up verbally, lambast, and so it evolved from like to beat, lamb as the base, to beat, and then Cockney slang turned into like beat it, to beat it, as in run. So on the lamb, on the beat, running. So it's like started with lambast, and then they shortened it to lamb, which just meant to beat, and then that turned into being on the lamb, which is on the run, or I'm gonna beat it, get out of here, like that kind of thing. So
Interesante.
yeah, that is fascinating, and I'll keep that with me forever, and try to work that into a conversation at work tomorrow. So
well, on the lamb.
Yeah, the etymology. Anytime I learn something new, somebody has to hear about it the next day. So that's definitely happening. But
anyway, so at the bar, Kate is talking about how the whole reason that she's in Iowa, because Cassidy gives her the whole like, what's a girl like you doing in a town like this? So Kate's like, oh, I'm here to talk to my mom because she turned me into the cops after I killed her abuser, and I would like to know why. So Cassidy's like, okay, well, something good should happen for one of us, so let's do it. So then, like, they actually came up with a pretty clever plan. Because Kate was just, I guess her plan was just to, like, go to her mom's house as if, you know, the marshal and all the feds are not going to be totally up her asshole, which she killed one dude in a nobody town that was a piece of shit, a known piece of shit, and the U.S. Marshal is after her. She's not a freaking serial killer. She didn't, you know. It just seems very blown out of proportion, the whole deal. That's why I think that Kate maybe got an unfair shake, just a touch. Mm-hmm. And what's really, I think the real deal is the marshal is pissed because she keeps getting away from him, which is fine, but his, like, national manhunt takes government money, and the government is not going to pet his ego and allow him the funds to chase this bitch all over the country. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, plot hole. But anyway, so...
There's a lot of plot holes in this episode. There's a screaming one later that we're going to get into, but yeah.
So, Cassidy dresses up like Kate and goes waltzing up to, you know, the door of Kate's mom's house, and as soon as the mom opens the door, like 15 agents are on top of her, and they throw Cassidy to the ground, and she looks up, and we all see that it's Cassidy, and she goes like, I'm just selling Bibles. And the marshal's like, damn, she got me again, because he knows, like, Kate is afoot. So he's like, damn. So Cassidy leaves, and she's like, yeah, obviously, like, we can't do that. So here's another plan, which is also brilliant. Cassidy goes to the restaurant where Kate's mom is a server, is having a bowl of chili, and oopsies, spills it all over the front of the, what's her mom's name? I can't remember. Diane.
Yeah.
Spills chili all over Diane's freshly pressed apron. So instead of Diane just getting a new apron, which is what would probably happen in real life, Diane goes to the bathroom and is, you know, dabbing the chili stains out of her apron. And Kate, you know, appears in the doorway. And she's like, they just get right into it. She's like, Mom, why'd you turn me in? And, like, please tell me that you didn't shoot, like, you love me more than him, and what the hell, how did this all happen? And her mom is like, I loved him, and you killed him, and that's unforgivable. And just completely is pissed. Like, she's super pissed. And Kate's like, Mom, like, I got you out of that. I took out that insurance claim on the house so that you'd be set up. Like, why did you turn me in? And Diane's like, listen, you're my daughter, so I'm not going to tell the police that you're here right now. And I'm gonna let you get away. But if I ever see you again, I'm going to call the police immediately and I'm going to start screaming. And that's exactly what that bitch did. When Kate saw her in the hospital when she's like dying of cancer, she opens her eyes and immediately starts screaming like hell. I'm like, girlfriend, you are dying and you still haven't let that go? It's no wonder that Kate is so jacked up.
Killed her mans.
Her piece of shit mans.
We're gonna get into that.
Oh, yucky and gross. So, Kate is upset and leaves. And Cassidy takes Kate back to the gas station. Oh, yeah, because that was the whole deal, was Kate's car blew up. Mm-hmm. Something broke. And she was like, it was going to take like 3 days for the car to get fixed. And, of course, Kate was like, I can't do that. So, she's hanging out with Cassidy for this whole time. Cassidy takes her back and she's like, I'm pregnant. So there's a little baby Sawyer running around out there somewhere. I can't wait to meet. Do we get to meet the baby? You're not going to tell me.
No.
Yeah. But she, obviously Kate.
That we already knew he had a daughter.
Oh, yeah, when he was in jail.
Yeah. Clementine.
That's right. You're right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling Clementine. You were lost and gone forever. Dreadful sorry, Clementine.
If I get to hear Sawyer sing Clementine to his daughter Clementine, I'm going to pass away. It's just going to be too much for me. I'm not going to be able to deal with it.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, that's really sad. That's really sad. So
I could just mean that he's not going to sing that song, but,
Well, anyway, Cassidy's like, yeah, I'm pregnant by that dude that embarrassed me or whatever, and, like, I wish he was dead, but I still love him. And Kate's like, you know what? Tell me his name, and I'll go find him, because you helped me out, so I'm going to help you out. Where's he at? Cassidy's like, no, don't worry about it. Do you forgive your mom for calling the cops? And Kate goes, no, and then gets out of the car. So, okay.
That's enough girl time.
Good one. Yeah. Good one. So back in the jungle, this is, Kate, Saeed, Locke, and Rousseau have decided to go get Jack, whatever. All that shit went down. Jack was playing the piano. Yeah, blew up submarine. So now, this is the aftermath of that. So Kate is like chained to a pool table or whatever, or a chair by a pool table, because like, what's sexier than a, pool table lady or whatever? So dumb. She's a damn prisoner. Why is she next to the pool table? Get it together, y'all.
I'm pretty sure, and in transparency, it's been a couple of days since she watched the episode, but she's kind of bored in there. She's been sitting there for a while. Did you happen to remember what she was kind of messing with on the floor?
No.
Backgammon.
Oh, isn't that what Locke and Walt were playing?
Yep.
Yeah, the dark and the light.
Yeah, good and evil. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Probably coincidence.
I'm sure. Yeah. So, I guess Juliet's like the food runner of the island, because she comes in with some food, and Kate,
Do we think that's sexist at all?
It absolutely is.
Because, there's so many men on that island.
Yeah, there's a bunch of NPCs that we don't know or care about, but for whatever reason, Juliet and she, hand-cooked Jack's burger or whatever. Yeah, it's sexist, yes.
Is it sexist, or does Ben intentionally use Juliet as a disarming mechanism? Because Mr. Friendly bringing you a burger versus Juliet.
Mr. Friendly was nice to Kate previously.
Yes, but she does not know that he's gay, so she just thought she just thought that he was being creepy.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. He's watching her shower, and she's
he doesn't watch her shower.
She's he's oh.
Yeah, not interested.
Not interested.
Not interested.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So, anyway, Juliet brings in the food, and Kate immediately tries to rush her, because of course she does, because she's badass. Except she gets her shit rocked. Juliet is not playing around. She's like,
A little tougher than she looks, huh?
Yeah, she smacked her on the ground and was like, try harder next time, or some cute little quip. So then she goes, enjoy your sandwich, and then leaves. And I was like, yeah, you tell that bitch. You tell her. No reason for all that. So later, we see there's hustle and bustle happening outside, and Kate's like looking through the grill of the window or whatever, and she can't tell what's going on. And then here comes Locke, and we've not seen him. And he walks in, and he's all cool, whatever. And Kate's like, oh my God, Locke, thank God, you're okay. We gotta go. We gotta get Jack. We gotta whatever. And Locke's like, let me stop you right there, player. I'm leaving. They're leaving, and I'm going with them. And they told me what you did, and they're not going to forgive you. And then he leaves.
He said, I did my best to advocate for you.
Yeah.
But then they told me what you did, so I doubt they're going to forgive you.
Yeah, and then he leaves. and she's like, what? So then suddenly, like, everybody puts on those, like, 1950s gas masks with the, like, hoses on them. And she's like, what? They throw in, like, a smoke bomb grenade, and then she's out. Boom. Wakes up in the jungle, handcuffed to Juliet. And again, we're back to the whole, like, your mom puts you in the giant t-shirt and goes like, you can't take it off till you resolve your issues. And that's basically what's going on. They're traipsing through the jungle, handcuffed. And Juliet's like, they left me too. Like, boo-hoo-hoo, sad for me. And then Kate is like, of course, we gotta go find Jack. And Juliet, I was like, yeah, get her ass. Juliet's like, just so you know, Jack told you not to come back for him, not because he was worried about you, but because you broke his heart, because he saw you in Sawyer. And I was like, tell her, somebody needs to humble her. Love to see it. Love to see it. So they get into a little tussle, and Kate ends up like completely dislocating Juliet's shoulder. Like, you idiot. You are literally handcuffed to this person, and now you've maimed her. On the handcuffed arm, I think.
I actually thought that was, and I don't know if they intended this, the writers, but I thought that was great because Kate's always doing that metaphorically.
What,
so,
maiming people?
No, she doesn't understand the danger that she puts herself in when she puts other people in danger too. Mm-hmm. So it's like she is a constant. It's probably one of the reasons that I don't like Kate is I don't like her for a lot of reasons, but she's so impulsive.
Oh, yeah, deeply.
And I'm the opposite of impulsive.
Yeah.
So, like, her distinct lack of any level of thought or planning is disgusting. And in this situation, seriously, it's like, hey, idiot.
Yeah, dumbass. You are literally handcuffed to this
sorry,
person.
why don't you break her knees, too, you dipshit?
Yeah, like, you don't know where anybody is. You don't know what's going on. You're handcuffed to this bitch, and now you've maimed her.
Right. Good.
So, yeah, dumbass.
Good.
So, of course, Juliet is screaming because she's been maimed. And so we hear the cicadas ticking. Here comes the smoke monster.
Like a roller coaster powering up a hill.
Yeah. Yeah, so here comes the smoke monster. They take off running. They hide in one of those big rooty trees.
Banyan tree.
Yeah, like I think Tarzan hides in one of those in his movies. Like, that's just a good jungle tree to hide in. Good to know. I'm going to keep that in the recess of my mind in case I ever get stuck in a jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Find one of those trees.
Jaguar will get you though.
No, he got away from the jaguar. Tarzan got away from the jaguar.
Yeah, but the jaguar broke right through that tree. He got away from him because he fought him.
Yeah, but it slowed it down enough for him to get the ropes and
Stop
stuff.
the smoke monster, which is funny.
Yeah, I don't know what stopped the smoke monster, really. I don't know because, it pulls right up to the tree and it's like, and then there's like flashing lights and then it goes away. And they both look terrified. Juliet and Kate both look terrified. And Kate's like, have you seen that before? And Juliet was like, I've never seen that before, ever in my life.
I remembered that when I was watching, I don't know if it was this episode, but at the time when I was watching this series originally, sometimes random stuff will pop in my head that I just think is funny, and I get, as we say, tickled about it, and I just can't stop laughing. And I was thinking it would be so funny because even then, we'll have to word this right. Okay, so the smoke monster, I thought it would be funny if it could speak. And I thought it would be even funnier if it was that same voice from Family Guy, of that guy that's like, "Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, y'all can't y'all can't hide in that tree forever.
Yeah.
We're gonna wait.
I'm gonna be right out here.
I'm gonna wait outside for you. I'm gonna sting you with my stinger."
Oh my god, I can't remember that guy's name, but yeah, that's a pretty good impression of him. Yeah. So anyway, Juliet.
Bruce, I think.
Bruce, yeah. Yes, and he's wanting to marry Jeffrey, and Jeffrey won't propose.
Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Right, Sid. Yeah. And he also is Mayor B, if you remember that. Yeah, a bit.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Then I was going to die if I sting you. I guess I'm not going to sting y'all after all. Y'all not worth it.
God. So Kate, pops the shoulder back in, and then they just both peacefully fall asleep inside the protection tree.
Well, and also Juliet says to Kate, she's like, "Don't flatter yourself. It's been dislocated like 4 times." Mm-hmm. So it's like she's dissing her even then. She's like,
yeah, Kate's like,
"Sorry, I dislocated your arm." She's like, "Don't flatter yourself."
And Kate's like, "This is gonna hurt." And Juliet's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. Like, had this done multiple times. It's fine." Yeah, So they keep on heading the next day. They're trying to get back to the barracks to try to find Jack and them. And the monster comes back. So they start running, and they come back to that, like the dog fence, like the underground fence or whatever that'll blow your head up or whatever.
Right.
And Kate immediately stops Juliet, because Juliet just keeps on running. And she's like, no, you don't want to know what happens if you go in there. And Juliet's like, "Bitch, we have got to go." And Kate's like, "Bitch, you don't understand. Like, we can't go in there." And Juliet's like, because the monster is like imminent. It's coming. It's like right on top of them. So she runs over and freaking disengages the pylon. And they run through, and then she turns it back on, and then the smoke monster like piles into it and, dissipates on the invisible wall. And Kate's like, "Thought you said you've never seen that before." And then she goes, "Where's the key?" She just knew that Juliet had a key on her after that, which that didn't even occur to me as a viewer. I wasn't immediately like, "Oh, well, she's got a key too." Like, this whole thing is a big farce. Like, Juliet is an excellent liar. Excellent. So, Juliet produces the key, unlocks the things, and then Kate's like, "Why did you do that?" And Juliet was like, "Well, I thought if we were handcuffed together that you wouldn't leave me too." But I don't believe her. I personally don't believe Juliet.
Okay.
She's an excellent liar. And, I believe that she could have stayed with Jack, and it would have been fine. He's not going to leave her, So what the hell? I don't know why she did that. So they make it back to the little town. They find Jack and they find Saeed. And Kate, of course, runs up to Jack, and she's like, "I'm so sorry that I messed up and I ruined my home. And I just was so worried about you." And he doesn't say shit except for, "Where's Juliet? Is she okay?" And then Kate's like, "Yeah, she's fine. Sorry about it, baby." So they all kind of reconvene, and they're like, "I guess we should go back to the beach. We should go back to the beach." And then Juliet's like, "Okay, let's go to the beach." And Saeed's like, "Oh, she's not coming, right?" And then Jack's like, "Hell yeah, she's coming." So then Saeed and Kate look at each other like, "Oh no." And then they head back to the beach. So that's that. And then, total side story, after the whole Nikki and Paolo situation, everybody has found out that Sawyer was like the mastermind of Sun getting kidnapped and getting her ass whooped. So everybody's super upset with him. And they are going to take a vote on whether they should banish him or not. And he's like, banish me? Like, seems a little harsh. So then Hurley, bless his heart, goes on a little mission to help Sawyer build up some goodwill. So he, like...
Sorry, I don't think they do know that Sawyer was the mastermind of that stuff.
Well, that's what Hurley tells him. Like, everybody's super pissed at you about the Nikki and Paolo thing, and...
Just the Nikki and Paolo thing.
But then...
That they don't know about Sawyer being the mastermind of the Sun thing.
Sun didn't tell? Because Charlie told her, like...
Yeah, that he did.
And that Sawyer helped him.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, when they're digging Nikki and Paolo's graves.
Either way, everybody doesn't know.
Well, nobody knows anything because Hurley devised the whole shit.
No, I know, but I don't even think Hurley knows. That's why I'm confused. Is I don't think Hurley knows.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like he couldn't be alluding to it because he doesn't know about it.
I guess you're
right.
right.
But he's saying the diamonds thing with Nikki and Paolo because Sawyer tried to take the diamonds.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. So anyway,
it is hard to keep track of who knows what.
Yeah. Oh my God, everybody's freaking lying. So Hurley's like, yeah, dude, like you should go. He like hands him a blanket and says, you know, every mom likes when you pay attention to their babies. So like, go ask Claire something about Aaron. And so he goes like, Sawyer, as if he's never spoken to a woman with a child before. He's like, cool baby. Or something stupid, and Claire's like, can I help you with something? Like, do you need something? And he's like, no. So then he helps Desmond find a boar, and they feed the whole everybody, and like everybody's being cool to Sawyer, and everything's all harmonious and stuff. And Hurley says something to the effect of like, look, you know, Jack's gone, Locke's gone, Saeed's gone. You're all we got. Like, you're kind of the leader now, and so...
And Sawyer's like, I don't want that.
Yeah, and Hurley's like, I hate it for you.
Well, he also said, like, I don't think Jack wanted it either, but,
he
like,
did,
this is the...
yeah, like...
This is... You're who we got.
Yeah, so. Everybody's looking to you, so you need to go, like, be nice. So then Sawyer literally, like, looks out, and it's one of those, like, sweeping montages of, like, everybody's happy, and they're smiling, and they're eating boar, and everybody's happy, whatever. So then, Sawyer says something like, so I guess, what time's the vote? Or he asks Charlie, he says, what time's the vote? And Charlie goes, what vote? So then Sawyer's like, oh, and then Hurley, that's when Hurley
This is the lamest con of all time.
I thought it was great. I thought it was brilliant.
No, he says that to Hurley.
Oh.
Like, that's a lame, you con me into being nice? That's the lamest con of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just funny.
I thought it was brilliant.
Not a spoiler at all, right? But just a hint, just a little hint. But a long-term hint here. I think that you learn something about Hurley in this episode that's important, less than Sawyer.
Yeah, that he's like super intuitive. People listen to him. Mm-hmm. He's influential. He's very smart. And he knows how to manipulate people, but in like a good way. He's like a good manipulator.
I think that what Hurley was doing with Sawyer was less manipulation. It is like the light side of manipulation. Mm-hmm. It was like encouragement, kind of. Yeah. Like it's like coaching almost.
Yeah, because like at the end, like literally the first person that Sawyer goes to try to be nice to is Claire, and he's like, cool baby. And then at the end, he walks up all gallant and you know, big chested, and immediately holds Aaron, and Claire's like happily handing him over, like, you know, it's a full circle moment.
Well, and just showing trust, because you're not going to hand your baby to somebody that you don't trust.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So a couple of things with this episode. There's only two kind of art within the arts in this episode.
Oh, you didn't talk about when this was released or any of that? any of that kind of stuff like
I did
normally
miss
do?
that.
Yeah.
So that was, let me get that date for you real quick. So I believe that we are in the, April 4th, 2007. But so a couple of things. Sawyer's reading Watership Down again. So Watership Down is the dystopian rabbits novel where they're trying to find a new home, and they're besieged all the time, like by all manner of evil. Essentially, it's like you do not let your kids watch Watership Down or read Watership Down. It's for adults. All right, that's like letting your kids read Animal Farm or something because it's about animals. Don't do that.
It's like The Secret of Nim too. That's kind of a super dark cartoon.
It's pretty dark. I don't think it gets close to Animal Farm, but Animal Farm is a very dark piece of literature. But have you ever read it? Mm-mm. It's literally just like it's George Orwell wrote it, and it is.
Well, that tells me most of what I need to know. It's gonna be super fucked.
Really, really, really fucked, because it is an allegory for the communist revolution. And it's about how the corrupting nature of power, basically, and it's because there's two pigs, and they're basically Lenin and Stalin, and but they're called Snowball and I can't remember the other one, Napoleon, so it's a good book, but when I saw Animal Farm for the first time, I thought it was going to be like a kid's. Some teacher showed it to us, like in middle school. This is so out of pocket. You know how upset I would be if I found out that my kids watched Animal Farm? If you know anything about Animal Farm, it is grotesque and dark and not a thing that children should be watching. You should be...
what am I thinking of with like John Belushi? Is that not Animal Farm?
I don't know. Animal Farm is usually animated.
The Toga Party...
Animal House.
I knew it was something.
Okay. Anyway, so he's reading that again. Obviously, he's read that before. We've already correlated that to Lost, but
the library hasn't gotten any, new books in a while.
But the other piece of art that I wanted to talk about is actually a piece of music in this episode. So people have asked us to comment on the music before, but I think that there is a song that plays in this episode which is important to the themes of the episode, and it is by one of the great Southern singers from that time, Patsy Cline, and Walking After Midnight.
It's a great song.
Yep. And so Walking After Midnight themes of loneliness, but specifically about trying to reconnect with somebody.
A weird hopefulness.
Yeah, and so it's playing
in the car when Kate pulls into town
to go see her mom. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she wants to reconnect and
of course she does.
Talk with her mom, and also, interestingly, they could have had Cassidy selling anything. And what was Cassidy selling?
Fake chains, baby. Jewelry. Necklaces.
Sorry, I meant when Cassidy went to see Bibles.
Yeah.
So more biblical stuff popping up in Lost. She could have sold anything. She's selling Bibles, right?
Could have been selling Kirby vacuum cleaners.
So the only thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of themes for this episode, and I don't really want to talk about a theme, I just want to address something really Cosmopolitan style or tabloid style. So the whole thing with like Kate sleeping with Sawyer, and then she's going back to try to get Jack. She's worried about him, and then you've got Kate with Sawyer, and Kate, she wants to go get Jack, and then you've got Juliet. Obviously, he's got some feelings for Jack, and there's some like back and forth. Hard to disentangle all of it, except that I don't think Kate knows anything about herself or any of the people involved in this situation, because she should not be going back to try to get Jack at this point. I think she's only doing it because he told her not to.
She cares about him. She doesn't want to just abandon him. She does care about him.
But the thing is, I would buy that, except that when she went back to get him, the first thing that she saw was him playfully throwing a football around with Mr. Friendly.
Yes, and then getting all snuggly
Yes.
with Juliet, and that pissed her off.
So he's happy.
Yep.
She can't have that.
No.
I like Kate less and less through the series. This episode is kind of a low light because I actually think that like this isn't even dark as much as it is just like shitty. Like, Kate, why are you doing this? Like, you see,
she just thinks that she knows better than everybody. Like,
but she's been
Jack can't be happy. He has to have been brainwashed and like we're right and the others are wrong, and I couldn't possibly have misunderstood something.
But it's so irritating that she saw him having fun and being happy, and still press forward.
No, not while I'm around.
And then I was thinking too that I saw this clip apparently from Family Guy where they were making fun of Lost at the time that it was on, and it was Jack running up to Kate on a beach, and he was out of breath because Peter was out of breath, and they're like, "Man, you're like that guy Jack from Lost or whatever," and they do a cutaway, and he's just exhausted like Jack always is, always breathing hard because he's been running or whatever.
Yeah.
And he runs up to Kate, and he said, "I think I found a way off the island," and she's holding a paper bag. All right, like a lunch sack. He said, "Give me that paper bag." She gives it to him, and he like puts it over his mouth to try to calm himself down, settle his breathing. And she goes, I just shit in that bag, right? He said, "I know," and he just kept going, and that was the end of the clip. So like even Family Guy knew like it's getting unhinged, really.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I were Jack. It's no contest which one of those two women I'd be more interested in. Juliet.
Yeah, well, Juliet also, is a liar, and he knows it, and she's damn good at it, and he knows that too.
Yeah, but she's also in medicine, like he is.
Yeah.
She tried to orchestrate a coup against Ben.
Did she?
I think it's pretty clear that she tried to orchestrate a coup.
Yeah. I don't trust any of it.
They put her on trial for it.
They did. You're right.
And also, she makes a mean cheeseburger, apparently.
Yeah, she handmade the bun.
She did say that.
Everybody loves a woman that can bake bread.
I don't know. Kate is really wearing me out at this point. Because it's like...
I am so sick of her shit, for real.
The writers are trying so hard to, like, get you to sympathize with her a little bit. But it's like...
I do a little bit.
I don't at all.
Well, you're different than most people. You are so harsh with people.
But the thing is, I think at some point there's an expression that I think mostly Gen Z uses. Millennials are trying to adopt it, but it's not working out. But it's like sometimes you just have to take the L.
Take the L, baby.
You know what I mean? Like Kate, if Kate were an actual decent person, she'd see that Jack is happy. She would know that she slept with Sawyer, so she's got a thing for Sawyer. So why is she trying this thing with Jack out? And then he's happy, right? Maybe just shut up and take the L.
Yeah,
right?
but it's too late for that now. It's too late for that. No,
but it wasn't when she was seeing him being happy.
Yeah.
But just turn around and go home.
Nobody else was like, hey, maybe Jack is having a good time and maybe we should just go back home.
I think Locke did tell her that she shouldn't go in there.
Yeah, but that was like a cautionary tale because there hadn't been enough time passed or something. He didn't say like don't go, period. He was saying like don't go right now.
Well, look, we're going to wrap up shortly, but there is I do want to address a glaring plot hole. Okay.
Oh, I must have missed it.
Okay, so they go through their little sonar fence, turn it back on, right? Smoke monster runs up against it, screams,
Brick
goes
wall.
away.
Yep.
So you're going to tell me that smoke monster can go all over the place, but it can't just go over that fence?
Well, who knows how tall it is?
Babe, they went over the fence. Kate and Saeed and them, they leaned that tree up on it and they climbed up over the fence.
You're right.
So you're going to tell me that they can. They're humans, but this like smoke monster, which doesn't even have legs, right? It's hovering above the ground. Can't just like, like, here I am on your side of the fence, right? I'm going to get you.
That's true.
Yeah. And I mean...
Maybe it hurt it to hit the wall, and so it just retreated.
Yeah, I ran away instead of like getting pissed off and going over the fence and chewing them up.
It looked like it was scared of Juliet and Kate inside that tree, and it ran away.
I think it's a plot hole.
I think it maybe is a scaredy cat.
No, there's also so I don't know if there's a word for this. The Losties can help me out, right? But there's a big disagreement with people who love this show, and one of the things that tends to happen when people debate this show is that there's one kind of Lost viewer who insists that everything in the show was planned. And they go like, all right, well, they knew and they planted this there, or like they knew and they did this, and like there's a good reason for everything. And then there's another section of the show that of Losties that are like, look, we love this show, the story's really great, but sometimes the writing is shit and they don't think things through when they do it. I'm more in that group. I love this show. I really do. I think they do absolutely fantastic character work with some of the characters. I think the problem with Kate is that they dug themselves a hole that was too deep and they couldn't get out of it. Like, Kate is unlikable and she's got weird character traits that aren't conducive to the rest of the show. And, like, that's the problem with Kate.
Yeah, like she's just, they're like, well, she can be as insane and stupid as she wants to because she's hot. Like,
right.
They're just leaning on that. Like nobody's going to get mad at her. Look at her.
Like, you see how, like, Sawyer went from unbelievable jerkwad in the first season to, like, now he's just kind of snarky. Yeah. Like, he does a shitty thing every now and then, but now he's just like,
he's got a dude.
I'm just snarky. I'm an anti-hero. I'm not.
I'm gonna like do the right thing, but I'm gonna be pissed.
I'm not gonna be happy.
I'm gonna give you a one-liner about it and give you a stupid nickname.
So they did a good job with his rehab. They're not doing a great job with Kate, and that's because
it get better?
That's not in my opinion. It's because Kate to me is so static. Like, she just doesn't change really. And like,
yeah, she's had no like big breakthrough growth moments or anything. She's just like the tortured daddy's girl issue person, or daddy issues girl the whole time. Like, well, and mommy issues too, I guess.
So before we get into Messages in a Bottle, the next episode is called One of Us.
Yep. They're going to make it back to the beach, and they're going to try to integrate Juliet and Kate, I believe.
Juliet flashbacks.
Yeah. I believe that Kate is going to dissent and try to make that a fucking problem for Juliet. She is going to make sure that the integration is not smooth. That's my prediction.
Okay.
How much genie in a bottle?
16?
What?
I was giving you a score there.
Oh.
All right. So let's get to Messages in a Bottle. And so that'll be for our expose episode, which we redid.
I hope you guys liked it. I think you did.
Matt says, really love seeing Morgan's appreciation of this episode when not high on antihistamines.
Yeah. It wrecked me, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Kira, great job. Ah, yes, the huntsman. Very sweet. We keep them as pets. Morgan, I was really confused as to how you could not like expose after the last episode, so it makes me so happy that you got to watch it again and appreciate it the way most fans do.
It was a great episode.
I told Kira, and I'll tell the rest of you if you didn't read it, that we visited a bird sanctuary and saw a kookaburra, and asked her how it compared in size to the huntsman. And so I think it might be I don't want to say it's the national bird of Australia, but it's
an important bird.
It's an important bird.
Everybody knows those birds.
And buddy, they are loud.
Very loud.
We played some kookaburra songs on our
Excuse me, that was my idea, and I thought it was very clever because we walked up and we were just looking at them.
I mean, you probably really stressed them out and really affected their mental health for a little while, but I mean, it was good for us. We got to hear some birds.
We were talking to them. They were not talking back, and I was like, I wonder if it's like a wolf. Like if one wolf hears a howl, they all start, and that's exactly what happened.
Greg says, Morgan, congrats on the new job.
Thank
also,
you.
thoughts and prayers for your NyQuil addiction. You can beat it. I believe in you.
Yeah, if you can't tell, I feel much better. No coughing and hacking and whatnot.
Joe, you're so correct about how some of the writing in this episode is the writers poking fun at themselves. Good. Great job with connecting Billy D. Williams to the whole Star Wars betrayal redemption themes. I'll go one further by extending the redemption part to the writers finally fixing the Nikki and Paolo situation, which is, I agree, knocking them off the show because they don't need to be there.
Yeah.
I completely agree, Greg. Jabronis, there's a whole backstory to this if you watch the Blu-ray extras. It was a word that was used by someone on the crew, so it made its way into the script as one of the Sawyerisms. I looked it up at the time, and jabronis and jaboni are interchangeable. Not for people who like WWF/WWE wrestling. Jabroni. And The Rock, he said jabronis. And
I don't remember if we said this in the episode, but I'm pretty sure that there is a pizza place in Gatlinburg called Jabronis. Because I took a realtor welcome basket thing up to a realtor's office in Gatlinburg, and I'm like 99% sure the pizza place next to the realtor's office was called Jabronis.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Morgan, it made me so happy to see that you loved this episode the way we did. After your last video, I was like, there's been a disturbance in the force. Okay. Okay, that one's not for reading out. We got a little bit of news, a la Greg, that we had just surpassed 3,000 views on our page.
Excellent.
And, weirdly, a lot of the views are on the shorts. So I may try to do a couple of more of those. And I think we got some good ones in this episode. Maybe the
Sock Em
Boppers bit. That's going to definitely be a short.
Sock Em Boppers.
Yeah. Oh my God, are we famous? Yeah.
Razzle Dazzle. What a
Razzle Dazzle.
What a lame ass line.
So that is it for Messages in a Bottle. We are very excited as we are getting closer to the end of season 3, where we'll have a very special episode for Morgan to see the most quoted moment in Lost. So for people who've seen the whole series. Oh, and sidebar, my sister started watching through the series, and she's in season 6 now. So she
doesn't listen to the pod.
My sister works an overnight job, and she has an awful lot of sitting around. So she has hours and hours where she can just watch Lost.
Your sister does a very important job. She does important work.
Yes, I didn't want to necessarily broadcast exactly.
Well, no, I'm not either. I'm just saying she does important work, but it is overnight.
I love my sister. I'm not dissing her. I'm just saying she has a lot of time on her hands.
You're just making it sound like she, does nothing.
Well, she's not a project manager or anything.
Oh, my God. Here we go. Here we go.
Anyway, great talking to you guys again, and we're very much looking forward to this next episode. I know I am. It's one of my favorites from this season. I'd say, top 5 or 6 from this season, and we will see you in another life.